Welcome everyone, I'm Blake from Seelbach. Wanted to bring you something new, so we do our weekly emails every Sunday with what's coming that week, but we figured it'd be a nice thing to just do a quick video, explain a little more about the releases we're doing each week, and give you a little more context for those releases. So I'm joined by Brian Bikey from our team and ready to jump in. We're sitting here Friday, August 29th, so next week starts Bourbon Heritage Month, so be a pretty exciting week all around and a lot of fun stuff coming. Brian, how's it going?
It's good, man. We've got a lot of exciting picks that we have released. We might talk about some of those from this past week. And then, again, Bourbon Heritage Month seems to be a packed month for us on releases. And then we have KBF around the corner as well. So looking forward to everything coming out.
That's always the fun part at Seelbach is we start to put this release calendar together, and it's like, man, there's a lot of good stuff to get out there. And I feel like really the next 3 weeks, it's a stacked lineup. In the past few weeks, we've had very stacked lineups. So let's jump into it. First, start Monday. We have a Bourbon Heritage pack, I guess is what we're calling it. Essentially 3 bottles, comes with a glass, Seelbach notebook, Seelbach sticker if you want to put it on, whatever binder or whatever 3-ring binder you may have in your bag. That'll be a fun one. And then if you're a pro member, we have our Russell's pick. Usually get a couple of these a year. They don't last long, as well as
Tyrone M, I think, right?
Tyrone M, very popular for those wild turkey chasers. Those Tyrone warehouse barrels are very sought after. So should be a great pick, as well as a little more of a restock of the Frey Ranch 100% wheat. That was one we did a few months ago and was gone fast. So we should probably caveat a lot of this with a lot of these things just don't make it out of pro. That's an advantage for being in pro and kind of our way to, kind of fairly release things that we know we just don't have a large quantity of. Now, granted, if there's bottles left over, that will then be released to Maine the following day, passwords removed. But yeah, Russell's pick, first off, kicking off Bourbon Heritage Month with one of the most famous distilleries in wild turkey. I think it's a great one on top of the 3-bottle sampler.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did a sampler like this last time too. And again, some of the folks who are getting the emails regularly, it might not necessarily be something they're looking for, but we give a little bit of a discount on it. It's a nice way for people who are kind of entering the market, which, could be good for some of those folks that are, going to KBF, they're new to bourbon. It's going to have Seelbach weeded in there. We're going to, what else do we have in there? We've got
Seelbach weeded,
new packaging of Pursuit.
Colony, new packaging for Pursuit. And yeah, I think that's the goal with the sample pack is, we want to give people an opportunity to get a pretty good deal on bottles, and it's 3 bottles that kind of have their own reason for being in there. You've got Kentucky wheated bourbon with the Seelbach wheated. You've got 13th Colony bourbon, which distilled in Indiana, aged in Georgia, a fun story for Bourbon Heritage. And then finally Pursuit with their United, with the new packaging, the 88 proof. I think it's just a great blend overall, and it's really cool. It's bringing in bourbon from Tennessee, Kentucky, and New York. It just kind of highlights what bourbon is. Like it's not so pigeonholed. There's a lot of different stuff out there, and you get some fun stuff to go along with those bottles.
Absolutely.
Cool. Next up, coming on most likely to Maine on Wednesday is the Old Soul single barrel, and I believe you went through the samples on this pick, correct?
Yeah, I went through the samples on it. I don't have though the actual labeled bottle here, but yeah, we did we try and make sure that some of the brands that we've been working with year over year that we continue to work with, and so Old Soul is one of those that we've had for a long time. You've mentioned too, Tintypes, a product that's hard to kind of keep in stock, and so we wanted to go back with another single barrel. It's been a little bit since we had one, so looking forward to getting that in people's hands too.
Yeah, no, Old Soul's a great one. Like I think their Tintype's fantastic. I believe they got, one of the final categories for the Ascot Awards, or it may have been San Francisco. Really just cranking out some great bourbon down there in Mississippi. So it's a fun one. It will be good to have back in, and kind of leads us to the next one on the list of fun things, our first ever J. Henry single barrel. If you're not familiar with J. Henry, out of Wisconsin, they use red corn that they it's really cool story. Dive deeper. We don't have enough time to go down, but essentially farmers who brought back a red corn. Then they contract distill with another Wisconsin distillery, and they've just been cranking out a lot of great bourbon. I think I put in the email, if you're a fan of their annual release or anniversary blend, you're going to like this one. And they also have another big check mark on, or they also have another big star with them, which is Nancy Fraley, who does all their blending. So they also have Nancy Fraley, which if you listen to us on any other things, we talk about how great she is as a blender. So pretty excited to have some of their rye that's finished in VDN casks as well to go along with this single barrel. Another single barrel that you selected, I think you had at least 24 different samples to go through for this one.
Split bourbon and rye, and I think that this is one of two of the oldest bourbon samples that we were sent, and they're just interesting, unique, lot of intense kind of jammy flavors. So again, like you mentioned, if you like J. Henry, this is going to be a really fun one.
Yep, four grain bourbon, split between red corn, wheat, rye, and malted barley. I feel like their stuff's always really well balanced, and it's definitely one I point people to if they're new to craft whiskey or just like a little more traditional flavor at times. I think that's always a great pick for them. And then we hit Friday, which if you're in town, if you're in town Thursday, we're doing a dinner in Louisville with Old Carter. Go to the website. We'll put a link in the email as well. So love to have people join us for that dinner. If you're around, be a good dinner, but let's be honest, we're there for the whiskey. It's a pretty incredible Old Carter lineup of bottles. Should be a lot of fun. We'll also be at KBF Friday. So definitely if you see us, come and say hello. I feel like I just wear a branded hat everywhere, just in case somebody spots it and wants to chat whiskey. But yes, Friday, big release. Bardstown Bourbon Company is releasing their 13th batch of Discovery, as well as their, I don't know what release it is of collaboration, but it's collaboration with Ferrand. So it's a cognac finish. It's the second time they've done it, just to where, let's be honest, they won't last long. There's been a huge increase in demand for anything limited Bardstown recently, especially after Discovery 11. And these are two really cool releases. I think 13 is the first time they've done any double oaked in there. But yeah, if you want to run through some of those details, give a little bit of your thoughts there.
Yeah, one thing that you were mentioning too, and folks probably noticed this as well. So Discovery 12, the production batch was much smaller, and I think you said that Discovery 13 is going to be similar. So we have a nice allocation of it. It's not going to be lottery like we've done some of our things, but it will be limited, and I think that it could go pretty fast on the two of these releases. I don't remember much of the Ferrand's first batch. I could have prepped better by doing that, but I know some folks who have tried these releases so far. I haven't yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I always like the collaboration series for what they are. I wanted to pull up what some of the specs are, but also, Discovery 13, I think that it's going to be it's hard for some folks to get, and so, be watching the site for that.
Yeah, so I've got them pulled up. So it's a blend of 9-year bourbon, which is 74-18-8 mash bill. 9-year, that's Kentucky bourbon, 9-year Kentucky bourbon, which is 78-10-12 mash bill, 15-year bourbon, 75-13-12. I think most people watching this will recognize that mash bill, and I feel like that was one that really kicked off the Discovery series and everybody chasing it. So good to see that liquid back in there. And finally, 8-year bourbon, 70-21-9. On corn, rye, malted barley. So let's see. On the
I got the Ferrand pill.
Okay, I was going to say Discovery 13 transformed luck into legend with a bold blend of Kentucky bourbon perfected with Hungarian and American oak. This limited release embraces the mystery of its number offering whiskeys that's rich, layered, and for the first time, double barreled in the Discovery series for added depth and distinction. So not a lot of info there on what was double oaked, what was, I'm sure that is floating around somewhere, so we'll try to include that in the email. I'm not sure if each individual whiskey in the blend was double oaked, if they dumped the entire blend and then double oaked that. But we'll try to dig that up before the release. But I mean, American and Hungarian oak, that's going to be a lot of classic bourbon notes. So I imagine it's going to be good.
Yeah, and you and I have been able to experience some of this when we've done some of our rye single barrels in a different way. They're toasted, right? But I'll be curious to see how this Discovery comes out profile wise. Yeah. Jumping over to this Ferrand, again, this is the second partnership that they've done. It is finished for 15 months in these cognac barrels. And that's one thing that I think I appreciate about Bardstown, and other folks do too, is that they're not shy on the duration of time in their finishing. It is an all Kentucky blend, looks like. Bardstown Bourbon Company's 6-year 95.5 rye. That's 7% of the blend. Then we move into majority of the blend is going to be a 9-year Kentucky 74.18.8. That takes up 73% of that blend. Then 10% each of an 11-year 78.13.9 and a 12-year 75.13.12.
So really, I feel like Bardstown's, and this may be more discussion for this video we're trying to do today, but they're leaning into the blend of straight whiskeys with bourbon and rye. I think we saw that on the Mizunara finish, or was that I think blend
so.
of straight whiskeys, which is fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love that actually. It does throw people off. I think everybody just the word boo rye got a little overused for a while, but I think you can really balance out a blend and amplify a blend by doing that. So should be a great release.
Yeah, I definitely think that we're jumping into a time, at least I personally would hope so, where it's less about what specifically is on a spec sheet and more about what you create the whiskey to be. So whether that's blend of whiskeys, blend of straights, all these sorts of things. I like the idea of mixing things together for flavor. Hopefully not in like a Turduncan kind of way where it's like this is, but in a way where you just don't feel the boundaries at times of things. And so I'm looking forward to trying this finish and seeing how it resonates with folks.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, hey, you can be innovative without it being good. Like, and I think at first some of these things were like, oh, we're just going to be innovative by blending all these different things together. It's like, but is it good? Like that's the ultimate test. And that's where, Dan Calloway over at Bardstown Bourbon Company, I think does one of the best jobs in the industry of blending and making sure the final batch is good. So, well, awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, let us know what you think about this format. Something we're definitely playing around with and testing, but what other information would you like to hear week to week from Seelbach? And as we dig into more releases and barrel picks, happy to get the content out there. And thank you all. Have a great week.
Cheers, everybody.